On Monday, I made a video saying Brendan Rodgers was in big trouble. And if he wasn't in trouble then, he certainly is now. Celtic fall to 8 points behind Hearts in the Scottish Premiership table after this afternoon's loss at Tynecastle. A really good Hearts side took Celtic to task, and we find ourselves in an absolute mess. Simply put, an absolute mess. Just when you think things can get worse, and even when you get a wee bit of light, even when you think things might get better after a win on Thursday, or they get worse, they get far worse. And I really don't know what we do moving forward. I really have no idea what's next for this Celtic side, this Celtic team. It's not a good place to be in. Certainly not. We're going to somehow try and do a match reaction to it. I'm trying my best to come on here and do this match reaction directly after the game with some dignity about me. I really don't want to come out all guns blazing, shouting and screaming the way you would expect some of these English streamers to do. It's not my style. I don't like doing that. Am I angry? Oh, I am. I really am. This Celtic team is pushing me to my limits right now. Everything that's going on at the club is, I think, pushing all of us to our limits. We're in a really bad place. A really bad place. And I didn't think that it could get that bad this afternoon. It almost felt like everything that could go wrong did go wrong this afternoon. You score an own goal. You give away a stupid penalty. You don't take your chances. It was the perfect concoction for a Hearts win today. And let me just make one thing clear. No excuses on our part. Doesn't matter the team we rocked up to Tynecastle with today. Doesn't matter the amount of injuries in our squad. We have to do better. Hearts played well. Hearts got the 3 points they deserve. So I know there'll be a few Hearts fans. I know there'll be a few Rangers fans who are clicked on this video to see what I say. And they'll want to hear me having a meltdown. And they want to hear me use every excuse under the sun. There ain't no excuse. Hearts won the game today. Hearts done well. Hearts are flying. Hearts have every right to believe they can do it. Now is the best chance anybody is ever going to get to break the grip at the top of the table between the two sides in Glasgow. They are 8 points clear, and if we keep going the way we're going, and if Hearts keep going the way they're going, there ain't no reason why they can't win this title. I know the thing that keeps getting said is, oh, it's only October, whatever. Doesn't matter. It really does not matter. We show no signs of improvement. I don't think there is a magic wand that can be waved to suddenly fix this overnight either. There is a serious chance. Hearts showed today they're as credible as what they make out to be. And I'm not going to probably talk about Hearts an awful lot in this video because there's bigger circumstances at Celtic to talk about and there's wider context that surrounds today's game for us. So in case you think I'm not going to give you any credit for your win today, there it is. You've got it. Do you know what? I was going to use a bit of vulgar language there, but you pumped us. You absolutely pumped us. We are in real bother. And I think today's football match, the 90 minutes of football itself, my notes on that could be put on a fucking pamphlet. You know, I don't have much to say about the game. I think everything following today's game and this whole match reaction is more to do with what happens next and systematically what has to change at Celtic right now. And if I even think we'll see any of that change at Celtic right now. We're in a bad place. But the football itself, I mean, what is there to say? First half, we looked okay. We responded really well from going down early. I mean, Christ, in the first 10 minutes I thought Hearts were going to take us to another 4-0 like they did a few years ago. I was not looking forward to it, but we responded well. I thought we were actually the better team for portions of that half. We went into half-time looking like the side that could probably go on and get a win at Tynecastle. I don't know what was said at half-time. I don't know what was done at half-time. I don't know what the manager told them to do. But the second half was like a completely different team. We were ran all over. We were terrible. And as I said, my thoughts on it all could be put on a pamphlet. Some of these players, not good enough. Some of the manager's decisions, absolutely baffling. And really, I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about the 90 minutes of football because at this point in time, Celtic are becoming a chore to watch. It is tiresome. We are outclassed in every area of the sport. Technical ability looks as though we have none. Determination looks as though we have none. Intensity looks as though we have none. Everything that I've mentioned there, technical ability, determination, intensity, Hearts took ours, multiplied it tenfold. Multiplied it by the highest number imaginable. You would think that we're a team fighting relegation the way we went to Tynecastle and played today. And let me just make it clear, I acknowledged today, and I think all of us did, today was always going to be difficult. At Tynecastle, it doesn't matter, you could be top of the league by 8 points, and going to Tynecastle is still difficult. Christ, we've went to Tynecastle when they've been down the bottom end of the table, and it's still been difficult, because it's just a really tricky place to go. But it doesn't excuse that. I think Brendan Rodgers needs to take a long, hard look at himself right now. If his heart is even still in it, these players need to take a long, hard look at themselves. Are their hearts still in it? Do they still want to play for this club? Because by all accounts, that second 45 minutes of football says to me that it's time to wrap this up. You know, it's time to move on. If it was up to me, I'd be getting rid of everybody at this rate. I'm not just talking manager. I'm talking every single player that has anything to do with this team right now, because none of them are giving me a reason. You know, bar the odd couple, you could talk about, you know, the likes of Sebastian Tenetke, who is trying. I don't want to maybe put him under that same umbrella, but I feel like we just need to rip it up and start again. This is verging on COVID season type stuff. And it's even worse because we've got fans in the bloody building for it. Yeah, it's really, really poor. And it's really concerning. And obviously the big question is it time for change? And I think that's what everybody will be clicking on this match reaction for. You don't care about the 90 minutes of football. I think we care about what comes next. But I think it's clear that we are coming to the end. If not, we're at the end. I think that we are now staring down the barrel of him having 2 games to save his Celtic job. And for a lot of people, it's too late, and I understand that. I wouldn't have any quarrels with it. If you think Brendan Rodgers should be gone tonight, fair enough. I'm not going to sit here and argue it. I'm not going to sit here and say you're wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say that's ridiculous. If you think he should be gone, that's fine. I think that's a perfectly acceptable opinion to have right now. I think for me, and my own mentality towards it is, if we lose to Rangers next Sunday, that's got to be it. I think that's where I am. But if it were to emerge tonight that Brendan Rodgers was to leave Celtic, was to resign and leave while he has the chance to maybe escape with some credibility and some thank yous, maybe he should take it. Maybe he should take it before he makes matters worse. I don't think that he's a guy that will be fondly remembered by the whole Celtic support, but I think he has a chance to walk out the door, give a middle finger to the board and make clear what went wrong and get some of that admiration back, and maybe that is something he should consider. But the thing is, and let me make this clear right now, I don't think no matter what happens tonight, no matter what happens against Falkirk on Wednesday, and no matter what happens against Rangers next weekend, I don't think he'll be sacked. I think the only thing he can do is walk away. You've got to remember, this is the dream scenario for the Celtic board. This is the dream scenario for them. They are under so much heat, under so much fire from the fans, to the point where it's an uncomfortable level of scathing for them probably. They have that heat being turned towards the manager. They are rubbing their hands. Do you think they're going to pay this guy out early to suddenly have the heat back on them? No chance. No way. They're loving this. They are rubbing their hands. This is exactly what they have been dreaming of. If they can have all of that heat and all of that criticism directed towards the manager and they can escape it just for a little bit longer, they're going to take that. They will happily watch Brendan Rodgers sit in that seat every week and take the stick, take the criticism if it means they don't have to for a wee bit. They're loving this. And I just don't see a world in a guy who's destined to leave at the end of the season anyway. They don't need to keep him here. They have the power to extend his contract. They don't need to do it. Why would they pay out? I don't know how much it would be exactly. I'm not entirely sure of the figures that he's on. But let's just say a couple of £1,000,000 to sack him when they could just wait and let him go for free at the end of the season. This is a dream scenario for them. They will be loving it. They will be rubbing their hands. And that's why I come back to the point of I think that Brendan Rodgers could save himself a bit of face if he was to do what Neil Lennon should have done when he had the chance to save face and walk away before it gets worse. It looks as though it's a guy that's given up. It feels like a team that's given up. It's soul destroying everything that's going on right now. I hate seeing the team suffer. I hate seeing the manager suffer. I hate seeing, in particular, the fans suffer. But we are in a mess right now. And the time for change is either arrived or it's certainly coming. As I said, I think my own mentality puts me in a position where I'm like, yep, Sunday is the big one for me. If he gets beat half Rangers again, he has to go. But I certainly am sitting here thinking to myself right now, maybe it's better to rip the bandage off and just change things while there's an opportunity to do it early in the season and while there's still trophies on the line. It's a horrible situation. And I certainly don't have the answers. Who am I to say I have the answers? What does my opinion matter? I'm lucky that you guys have subscribed to me and you all value my opinion. You come here and watch the videos or whatever. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I don't have the answers. I'm not the fucking saviour here. This is just one man's opinion. And I don't think any of us do. Nobody has the answers. The whole place is rotten. We are rotten on and off the park to a worrying extent, to a horrible level, an uncomfortable and soul-destroying level. And when you're in a position like that, everything is emotive. You react and you talk with emotion and you come up with ideas and solutions that are full of emotion. It's hard to look at it in any other way, and I think that just makes it so difficult, and it makes it clear that nobody has the answers right now. It's just a fucking mess. For what it's worth, Hearts have still got to go through the pressure of the winter period. They've still got to go through the actual pressure of competing for a title, because nobody competes for a title in October, and it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. By all accounts, still full of confidence that Celtic still win this title, and I know people might be going, that's daft to suggest today, but I just think that at one point or another we need to get ourselves back on the horse, back in the saddle, and Hearts will probably suffer their first bit of adversity, which will maybe take them through the ringer a wee bit. But banking on that is very, very dangerous, isn't it? It's just very dangerous to bank on that happening. It's all very well good in saying that in theory this will happen, or it should happen, but to bank on it, it does feel a little bit naive right now. I think this is a big, big week for Celtic. End of discussion. It's just a huge week for us in every regard. I hate it. I hate it as much as you. Trust me, I'm not reveling in any of this. I'm not enjoying a single aspect of it. As somebody who just wants Brendan Rodgers to win and succeed, it's painful, man. It really is. But we're so far off it. The team is nowhere near good enough. And we're suffering. We're suffering hard. As for the football itself today, we were really, really poor. Of course, some people had worse games than others. I don't want to stick the boot into anyone in particular, but I think the glaring, obvious problem today was defensively. Dane Murray had a terrible, terrible game, and that's been subject of heavy discussion online. I am of the opinion that we still would have lost today if Austin Trusty was on the park, and I really like Austin Trusty. I just think that we're pish. We're pish everywhere else. I don't think that Trusty would have suddenly fixed everything. Would it have stopped a hellacious own goal? Probably. Would it have stopped giving away a cheap penalty? Maybe. But I still think we would have lost the game in other ways. I don't think that Dane Murray is the sole problem. And the thing that I think is, this is just me, this is my opinion, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I think that if Trusty started today and we lost the game, and Trusty even made a single mistake, people would have been having the same conversations about him. People would have been going, Rodgers has left young Murray on the bench, a young Scotsman who has high potential and has looked good. He's not done anything wrong, and he's on the bench. How dare he? But instead we're getting the whole, how dare he start Murray and Trusty's playing now. I just think that either way we would have found things to critique, no matter who started the game. Murray had a stinker. And by all accounts, the level of stinker which suggests to me that he probably should not be starting again moving forward. But I don't think he's single-handedly responsible. The own goal was really, really poor. The penalty, giving away the penalty was really, really bad. But we are pish, man. We're pish. We would have lost. Hearts would have beat us. They were much better in every aspect of the game. And I just genuinely believe that one decision wouldn't have changed the game massively. I mean, what are you meant to do when you have nobody that's good enough to score goals? What are you meant to do when the midfield is once again pretty much non-existent? I mean, Donovan in the first half was having a torrid time on the right-hand side. Defensively, we weren't great today either. I don't think that Trusty would have been this fucking fix to everything. So, I just think there's so many big problems to worry about that it's hard to just focus and stick the boot in on one. If I was to run through everybody in the team, I have a lot to say about certain players. Hatate has looked as though he's chucked it. Again, I've been saying it all season. I don't get how Hatate's got a safe place in this team right now. He's done for me. I want to move him on in January. I have no desire to see him stay here past January. at all. Negren is hopeless, and I had my hopes up for him, and I'm hoping that maybe, because he's just here, I'm hoping that he'll turn that round. But he's not giving me any faith that's going to happen. Engels went back to being pretty poor today. McGregor was probably the best. Goal, great goal, whatever. Attacking wise, nothing there at all. We're just a really poor side. I mean, what else can be? I can't even be bothered diving into it analytically or trying to pretend that there's this big discourse to have. The bottom line is this, guys. We're shit. And that's that. We're really, really shit. And I don't know what else to say other than that. The bench... Oh, and I mean, this is the thing. Rodgers had an absolute nightmare today. The kind of nightmare it does make you consider whether or not he should remain in the job. He's keeping, Negren on the park and taking off Tenekte and keeping Murray on the park after dropping an absolute stinker. Like, these are things that can't go or not spoken about. It feels like everybody's lost. We're all just lost. Fans are lost, players are lost, managers lost. The board are fucking long gone. They got lost years ago. We're just bad. We're really bad. Simple as that. Aye. That's about it, really. I'm trying to keep somewhat a bit of composure about me, and realising that there's a long way to go and there's a lot that can change in this league campaign. Sorry. I just don't see it coming anytime soon, though. I really don't. I hate this. I hate it a lot. It's a big week. A big week. Will we see change? Who knows? I don't see it. But it might be time.